I'm Vicky.
And I'm Lauren. This is U-Haul and Unpack.
Don't forget to text your best friend back. God, I wish I was still in Connecticut.
Yeah, we wanted to take you with us to Connecticut, and Shannon said no.
Yeah, we
So,
literally brought it to her attention in the session right before the weekend, and she said, "Why are you going to work when you're relaxing? The only thing you need to worry about is sex, food, and relaxation." And we were like, "Okay."
and she said, Lauren, don't talk about your family.
Vicky,
And
don't
then,
talk about anything.
yeah.
Because everything I talk about is apparently stressful.
Yeah. So as soon as we got back, now we're doing this here with you because we actually like to do it. And it took restraint for us not to. We were like crying on the way home. And you were like, I'm going to get McDonald's so I can go further into a depression to cope with this loss of not being in Connecticut anymore.
McChicken sandwiches always, like, really throw me over the edge. I'm like, "I don't want the chicken nuggets. It's not sad enough. I need the McChicken
I don't need this.
sandwich."
That's not sad enough. I'm for the spicy snack wraps. And instead of
So happy
getting,
they're back.
they better stay back. And then instead of getting 2 cheeseburgers, because usually I have like a very particular McDonald's meal that I will get
Doesn't
whenever.
everybody, though?
I would hope so. And this time I was like, fuck it, I'm getting a quarter pounder.
I'm getting a quarter pound of not real beef
And then
pronto.
and then to really settle in the depression when I got home, I took the half gallon of ice cream to the face that we had in the freezer. So
But you know what came over the weekend was our Halloween Oreos,
yeah,
which I will never get enough. I don't know why the orange cream tastes the best. That's not really perverted. I
that's
didn't mean to
disgusting.
the orange cream. I do
You're
believe that
dirty.
I do believe that the orange filling in Oreos is far more delicious than the regular filling
That's
of
the food
Oreos.
coloring.
Oh, well, awesome. I love being American. That's cool.
Nothing hits like that red dye number 5.
All right, friends. So, one more thing. We have these like massive like caterpillar nests that are right outside, and I can't wait till they hatch and they're just everywhere. But I don't want the spider out front to eat like half of them. So I'm excited for this to unfold, but also fearful for this to unfold.
Just see like 10 dead caterpillar carcasses
In the
like,
nest, yes. Oh my gosh. All right. Anyway, back to it. I'm sorry. So last we left off, we were, as Lauren politely said, we turned the mics on each other and we're, asking each other those deep, dark, and desperate questions.
desperate.
And this week we wanted to dive a little bit deeper into what that meant for us and really how that affected, you know what I mean? Like how you throw a rock in a pond and those ripple effects really affect everything. And you don't realize that like a flat lake, when you throw a rock in, it affects everything,
Mhm.
right? It's like a butterfly effect. And what we wanted to dig deeper into today was how that ripple effect affected all of the relationships around us and that lack of support system within everything that unfolded, and not just with this particular affair subject, but
No, like
all of
in general, because like we said in the last 2 episodes, like this had started long before it started, right? Like the affair was like where it ended.
yeah,
We had so many bad relationships, not just with ourselves, but with other people. We were attracting that same negative energy that we had. It just felt normal at the time.
definitely.
Um,
We were chasing the chaos, as Shannon would say.
yeah, we were chasing the chaos, which apparently again is like super common, super normal. So we wanted to talk about this lack of support system or this ripple effect so that you don't string yourself along if you don't want to, at least as long as we did with
Yeah.
garbage people in your circle, because again, it feels normal. So you really don't know unless you know.
And a lot of the time you have those very common red flags
Yeah.
and you disregard it because it's your friend. And I think that was the common mistake. I mean, I won't speak on behalf of Lauren, but that was the common mistake I was making with a lot of friends and I'm going to say family too.
You
Like
can speak for me, yes.
there were a lot of people in my life that I was excusing their behavior because I had known them for so long. Like I had stated, I had a 30-year friendship that I ended because she couldn't see past her own inability to grow, and I disregarded that, thinking, "Okay, that's just who she is." Like maybe that is who she is, and that's fine for her in her circle in her life, but that's not fine for where I'm going in mine, and it's okay to accept you growing and accept people not growing with you, and I think I was just not accepting my growth.
Yeah, or hers, because like, everyone's on a different path, right?
Right,
Like,
right.
there's no, like, right time frame, so if she's on her own and it doesn't fit for where you are in your life, then, like, that's fine and vice versa, but I think we tie this, like, negativity to it where it's like, well, if you can't maintain this friendship forever, if you can't maintain these family relationships forever, then there's something wrong with you. And
Mhm.
it's like, no, there's actually something wrong if you're not adjusting appropriately. Because when Shannon first started having us like really look deeper and like sever these ties, which were suggestions, they were not forced. Um,
Always suggestions, she never told
always,
us how to live.
yeah. Um, but when she would bring certain things to our attention to the point where it became impossible to ignore, it's like, another thing where it's like, okay, we're not the only ones who are sitting in this or have these types of relationships in our lives, not even out of convenience, but or kind of out of comfort, out of familiarity, out of you owing something to that
D, all of
person.
the above, that was a
Yeah.
great way to say it.
So that's where we really kind of want to pick up today because, like, we turned the mics on each other last week. This week, not last week. Sorry, guys. It's bi weekly for
But I feel like we should start doing, like, weekly or start thinking about doing weekly because I love when you guys reach out and you're like, "When's the next one?" I'm like, "I'm
Yeah.
excited to do the next one because of you guys."
Yeah, so if you actually want us to do if you want us to switch to weekly,
We'll put a poll up.
no, but even still, please subscribe because this helps us get it out to more people and um leave a comment on our social media, DM us, or even leave a review. Actually, that would be even better if you left a review on our podcast saying that you want us to go weekly. That'll again help us get this out to more people and help us hear you better.
Yeah, I think it's a really good idea, and I think that would be nice to hear back from you guys because we personally love to hear, like, personal stories, and we love to hear everything that you guys have to say, but we also, like, want your input too because we wanna be able to touch up on what you need to hear and what you wanna hear.
Yeah,
So,
don't make us guess.
I'm not good at it. I can't even read Lauren's mind, so
I
please don't make
can't.
me read yours.
Yeah. So give us a review, tell us what you want, and we will make it happen for you.
Yeah,
'Cause we're here for you at the end of the day.
within reason. Within reason, let me clarify there, within reason.
I mean, honestly, we air it most of it out, so the within reason would have to be like
I'd probably still sell
other
my soul to
world
the devil for, like,
other
$1 trillion though.
yeah, like the within reason is like very take that lightly. It would have to be absolutely so extreme for us to be like, I don't know about that
I was
one.
gonna say,
So
keep in mind we're people pleasers trying to break out of that, so it's really with a grain of salt that you're it's within
no, I just mean the vulnerability that we have in this. I like carrying that on. So
True.
yeah.
Anyway, sorry about that. So, support systems. Let's talk about support systems. So, a lot of the time, people believe that their support system is their friends and family because a lot of the time it is their friends and family. What we want to specifically talk about, at least in this episode, are examples of friendships where we saw red flags that we ignored and excused because of the person and who they were to us in the realm of our lives, right? So when we had these people in our lives, it was a 30-year friendship or it was someone who went through a traumatic situation with me or Lauren and it was somebody who you thought understood you and you didn't realize that you were really changing yourself for this person's comfortability without expressing who you are because you were afraid they weren't going to like you or they weren't going to support you or X, Y, and Z, right? There's a million reasons and a million red flags. The first example that I would like to give is
Can I interrupt really quick?
sure.
Just to highlight too, like you said, I want to say a lot of the times it is your support system. Also, what we know is it's supposed to be our support system.
Thank you.
So,
It's what you're told all your life, but you're not given direction to find out.
right. And also, just because someone supports you, and I think you kind of grasped this with like our first episode, just because someone is supporting you, it doesn't mean they're supporting you in the way that you need to be supported.
Right.
Um, but and also, or just not at all. So,
Or at all. Well, exactly like that. Like with support, there's love languages, right? Like maybe I need to be supported emotionally. Maybe I need to be supported in a way that's like, just listen to me, bitch. And I know that like for a while, you and I would go back and forth, and it would be like, if I was complaining that day, we would have to literally ask one another, like, "Do you want me to just listen to you, or do you want me to give you advice on this?" And, granted,
Or what do you need?
or what do you need? Because we had to specify that. Because a lot of the time it was just us, like, venting. But, like, a lot of the time, that's something that you need from somebody too, like your friends. Like, I need to vent. Like, I need to just vent. But if you're fearful of venting, which I had run into several times with this one particular person, I was fearful of venting to her because it was such a glossy-eyed, dull look in her eyes that I couldn't get past unless I was completely drunk, and that was an issue that I was wanting to drink around her so I could get past the fact that she didn't care about me, and that was something that I didn't notice until later in the relationship, but even during times of Lauren and my bachelorette party that we had jointly done, um, we asked for somebody to put their card down just to, tip the waitress, and she couldn't do it, and she looked at me for advice, and, I'm the bride, like, "You should be stepping up, girlfriend." Like, there were plenty of
Who's
times
the matron of
she was
honor?
the matron of honor, but there are plenty of times, and I'm not saying that I need monetary value for support. What I am saying is that I shouldn't feel fearful of your support because I'm not matching what you want of me. And I think that that
Mm,
was something
you
that
should elaborate on that.
I think a lot of the time in my friendships before Shannon, I was matching this idea of a person that they wanted to see in me because it benefited their ego, it benefited them having a good time, it benefited their fun time, it benefited their entire life because I was their soapbox they could stand on. Very literally, I was the physical soapbox these people, not just one person, because there were plenty of friendships we broke off with,
Mm,
they would stand on me to say what they needed to say, and I would sit there and say, "Yeah, you go for that." But then when I needed that in return, there was nobody around to say, "Hey, I'm here to support you."
I'm glad
And
you said that
and I
because
and I knew that. I knew that from the start, and I wish, and again, like, being drunk a lot of the time, and I'm not saying that, like, I'm not shitting on drinking because you do you. I don't care if it works for you, it didn't work for me, clearly. But, like, if it works for you, do it, be safe about it, I don't care. It didn't work for me because I was blinding myself to the red flags on purpose to make sure that I could match what these people wanted of me so they could fill their cup while mine was still empty. And that was a bigger issue that I was facing, and that was the lack of support that I was facing in my circle, in my friend group, in my space, in my aura, and that's the kind of thing I was accepting, which really leads back to, like, people treat you the way that you allow them to, and I allowed everybody to walk on me. I allowed myself to be this mat because it was easy for everybody, including my parents, you know what I mean?
mhm,
And, like, it's still hard to stand up to the people I love the most, including you sometimes,
mhm.
and, like, it's
You're
it's
you're getting better at it.
yeah, I'm getting better at finding my voice, but, like, that's the thing is that these support systems aren't always it's not a loss when you think it's a loss, right?
It's not always supportive.
It's
So,
not
like
always
you
supportive.
said, like with that in particular friend, I remember us being at like a Christmas farm or something. Like it
Oh,
was like
right.
a holiday thing.
Ann Ellens
And
or Ellen Ann's or
yeah,
whatever.
and
So much fun.
it was super cute actually. If you have kids, you should go. And even if you don't,
Fill your bottle full of vodka and go for
and
a walk through Christmas lights because it's adorable.
yeah, yep. So when we were there with when we were there with her, I remember because you at this time had had a conversation with her about how you're both going to try in the ways that, so you had that conversation. You were both going to try in the ways that the other person needed to be tried.
Mhm.
Like she knew she needed to express more vulnerability, or at least that's what she said knew she had to do outside of your friendship.
She was aware that she needed to do that, and she was aware that she needed to exercise those things, not just for our friendship, but for her family as well.
Yeah. So, and then you said like you would make more of an effort to
To reach out
to
and make
reach out
plans,
and to make plans, but what
because I'm
have
not someone that reaches out, I'm sorry.
yeah, same though.
It's not on
I'm getting
purpose, I
better.
mean to, I just forget.
I'm You're getting better at that
I
though.
smoked
But
a
I
lot of tinfoil when I was a kid.
No, you're getting better. I think part of that issue
Not
was
funny? I thought that was
the
funny.
oh my god, we have to stay on track a little bit. So with that said, pain in my ass. With that said, like you were supposed to reach out more and hang out more, which you were doing initially. And then what had happened was she started not doing her part and then you dropped yours and it just became this like tit for tat thing.
Mhm.
Because I know the biggest thing I think at the end of that rope for you in my opinion, so maybe I'm wrong, is that when we were at the Christmas farm and you were pouring yourself out to her because you did need support outside of just me,
Mhm.
because I was, like, the only one who knew what you were going through, and you just needed somebody else, which is fair and normal.
Mhm.
And her eyes, I even noticed, glazed over, like, immediately,
Yeah,
and she gave you, like, no active listener feedback whatsoever,
I know.
and then, like, changed the subject to make it about her. And I remember, like, talking to you in the car on the way home and being like, "What was that? Like, why are you even trying?" And, like, again, like, it's different seeing it from the outside, but, like,
Yeah.
what was your
During that time, I was drunk, so I can't even tell you what it really was. I remember a time after that, it was spring, I went to her house and I drank a bottle of champagne. And I remember starting to be vulnerable to talk to her about like the real PTSD that I had undergone because of the circumstances that I was going through.
yeah, work related?
Yeah. And the new medication I was on and the new therapist I had to see and all these other fucking
Oh, the
things.
crisis
The
counselor.
crisis counselor,
Yeah.
because I was trying to hurt myself and, like, all of these other things that were fucking going on, and I remember trying to open up about that, and she said, "Well, isn't this just regular work stuff?" And then asked me immediately about the house, like, about building the house, and only because she wanted to know so she could find a new house for her, and I just took that I took that piece, but all the other things before that, I never saw those red flags, and I never paid attention to those red flags of not caring, not putting her card down, not even putting me first, not thinking about me on my wedding day, not even having a matron of honor speech with inclusive jokes that I would understand. And, like, there were so many minor and major things that I overlooked because I had known her since I was 5. And I'm just sitting
So what
here,
are some of those, like, minor and major things, just so, like, so that they
my
know what to look out for, maybe
yeah.
also in their
So, like
own, like,
yeah.
tailor it to you, obviously.
Yeah, no, but that's the thing is that, like, if you need emotional and don't feel shy to have these conversations with the people that you love either. Like, if you
Mm,
aren't getting what you need from a friendship, say, "Hey, listen," you know what I mean? Like, "I appreciate the way you're supporting me in this way, but, like, these are the things that I need in a supportive way." And obviously, like Lauren said, like, tailor it to, like, how you would speak. Don't say what we're saying because that won't work.
it's
But,
a little
like,
abrupt too, because Shannon had us say it pretty. She said, "I want you to say it this way, because if you say it this way, the reaction you'll get will show you everything you need to know."
you can't treat everybody the same way.
Right.
That's the key. You cannot treat everybody the same way. You don't blanket these messages. You
Mhm.
you tailor them to who you're talking to. So if I was talking to Lauren and say, "I need this kind of support," of course I would be more direct because that's how she hears things in a more direct fashion. But if I were to be talking to my mom about it, who is a baby boomer who's retired, you know what I mean, and is undiagnosed bipolar to say the least,
Mm.
like I would probably word it in a way that softens her up first and say, "I really appreciate you and the person that you are. Can you do this for me instead of this? Because I think that we could go farther in our relationship." Where with you, I would say, "This is what I need from you." And I think that when it came to this person particularly with these red flags, it was that feeling in my stomach knowing that I saw your eyes glaze over, and I didn't say anything then and there. I didn't look for confirmation when I absolutely needed it the most. So if I was saying something that was important to me, like, "Hey, I'm having trouble at work," and she was saying, "Hey, these are normal work problems," I should have right then and there said, "No, they're not, because you don't know what it's like to be in my shoes. So these aren't normal things. They might be to you, but they're not to me. And these are the issues I'm facing. But if you think they're normal, like, you're not necessarily supporting me in this. Like, you're just thinking like they are. And that's really hurtful to me." And, like,
Mm.
standing up for yourself is a huge part of supporting you. And that's what needs to come first, too. Like, you're your own best friend, right?
Mm.
And, like, you should support you first. And the fact that I didn't support me first had a big play on the way I allowed others to treat me, including this person. So,
Exactly.
like,
Yeah.
when we were at Aunt Ellen's Christmas tree farm, like, which was again, it was great, but then I sat there and I was super upset and I was crying and, like, I wasn't crying, but I was like,
You were drunk too.
I was drunk and I was sad about it. And, and I was saying these things and she just immediately changed the subject to her. I should have I should have been like, "Okay, but did you hear what I just said?" You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I should have redirected it back to me. And the fact that this person made everything about her, made everything about her husband, made everything, "You come to my house, you do this, you do that." Even when we were sexually assaulted by by that other friend. Like,
Did we tell her about that?
we did tell her about
She
that.
was pretty
She was pretty bland.
nonchalant.
Yeah, she was very bland about that. But
She's pretty
but
nonchalant
that
about it.
really shows somebody's colors, right?
Yeah.
And like,
Oh, I forgot we told her about it because her reaction was so bland.
yeah, and there was another red flag where it was like it was right in the core of my stomach where I was like, "Oh, this is not like the way somebody should be reacting."
Yeah.
Like the fact that she only wanted to talk about high school, like girlfriend, high school's been over for I'm 35. High school's been over for how long? At least 15 years and we're still talking about high school? Like grow up. Grow up. And like those pits in my stomach were just so unfair. And I know that I'm not the only one who gets fearful that they have to text these people back or just doesn't want to.
Uncomfortable.
It's uncomfortable. It's not fear. It's just that, like, I don't want to. But,
Mhm.
like, how many times you sit and you think, like, I just don't want to?
Before
Like,
you listen to it.
before you listen to it. Like, there were plenty of times this person called me, texted me, and I was like, I just don't want to. And I didn't care. I didn't care to reach out more. I didn't care to hang out with her more because I knew my needs weren't getting met. So,
Even after you had the conversation.
right. So, that's my example. That's my tall tale.
Well, I think you made a good point when you said, like, that you should and it's always easy to say in retrospect, right? So
Always, right.
we're like just saying this for how we move forward now and also hoping for you if again, if you're in something similar that and if you want to, um you have that opportunity to redirect because people treat you the way you let them.
Mhm.
So and the people who will treat you better will naturally fall away, or there will be a lot of disruption
Mhm.
at the very least if you're advocating for your needs, redirecting to get your needs met when necessary instead of letting X, Y, and Z slide. You're not taking that treatment anymore. So it's going to higher the standard of care essentially that you need. Um,
Which I think
and
opens up into your story about your friend.
um,
So let's talk about her.
so sh- another 30-year friendship. And this is not the
Fire.
so what's interesting is I had ended a 20-year friendship about 10 years prior to this, and that was really difficult for me. So this one was more like, wow, if I can't hang on to this one, then I have a serious issue. Like if
Mhm.
I can't make this work, then that says a lot about me for not being able to keep people in my life for extended period of time without taking into consideration that maybe they should have never been in my life that long to begin with.
Mhm.
Um, and I made the accommodations for them to do that. So, like Vicky said, similarly with like making myself small. I'm gonna use an example because I did have this person in my life for 30 years, and she commonly made things about her um,
Commonly.
commonly. You're gonna say
Oh
like
my
every time.
gosh.
So, but
That's
because I
polite.
always had I know, because I always had there was something between us where basically there was the I want to say the expectation, but also the standard she set too, that if I ever really needed anything, that she would actually be there. Like, so I would tolerate a lot for that. Okay, but if I ever really did need something, she'd be there. And also not taking into consideration like how many times I had gone through stuff and didn't lean on her, knowing damn well subconsciously that I couldn't
Mhm.
because it would come with strings attached or it would come with,
And it did. With
yeah,
everything you did.
or it would
Everything she did came with a string.
yeah, or contingencies. So I just thought, okay, well, like that's who. So if there's anything really big and I need her, she'll be there. So I will tolerate all this other shit so that
Red flag, red flag, red
because
flag.
yeah, because of this one standard that was set because clearly if you're that kind of person who I can call you in the middle of the night and you'll be there, like I owe you that. So I strung my entire self on this one standard that I had not even exercised
I was
with
gonna
her.
say, was it fabricated or was
It
like
was well, because 'cause I'm getting there,
or
because it was fabricated because I never used it, and then when I did, it didn't happen. So, she would also keep in mind, like I said, she makes a lot of things about her. She would call me all the time with her problems, which again is fine. That's not the issue. What the issue was it wasn't reciprocated. So, she would very literally, I wanna say, like, weekly emotional dump on me is the way to say it, right?
she would definitely take this like garbage bag and bring it to you, dump it in the living room and say, "You clean it up, get in her car and go home." that's what she would do regularly, and you were
Emotionally, that's like the
emotionally,
that's
yes.
like that's like the emotional, just to clarify, that's like the emotional equivalent of what we're talking about here, but
Right.
so that's what I would do. So that's what she would do, and that's what I would do. So because she did that so often, when Vicky did have the affair and I went to her, I expected a higher level of tolerance than what I got.
Care, possibly,
I
sympathy, empathy.
Yeah, what I got was I told her about it, and the moment I told her about it, she had said, "I never liked her anyway," which again, understandable, but time and place. I'm coming to you with my marriage. I just moved into this house we built together, and I found out my spouse was stepping out on me. And the first thing you have to say to me is, "I never liked her anyway." And it's like, you really made me have to stop in my tracks and consider your feelings when I am at my absolute lowest. Like, I didn't know which way was up. I couldn't breathe. I've never been more confused in my entire life, and then I had to stop, recalibrate, and consider her feelings during that moment, because then before I could even continue about what I'm gonna do next, which she was somewhat helpful with, kind of, not really. She would set her boundaries in place. So it was, I don't ever want her at my house ever again. And I go, okay, that's fine. I'll figure it out. Like, she doesn't have to be at your house. Like, that's your right. That's your boundary. And like, I'm not saying she didn't have these rights. It's just like, did you really have to do it when I called you
Right.
about you stepping out? Like, did you really have to make it about you?
She made our
And then,
affair about her
oh,
feelings.
everybody did in that group. And it's like, in
Yeah,
that moment
yeah.
too, everybody did, and in that moment too of being like, I'm like, "Well, what if I do?" And I think I said to her, like, "What if I do wanna stay? Like, what if we do work it out?" Like,
Were you scared to ask her that?
I kinda I don't remember exactly what I said in that moment, but I know I, like, said, like, "I don't know if I'm gonna get a divorce," and she basically was like, "Well, she's not allowed in my house anymore," and I go, "Can I just figure out," and I think I
Yeah,
even said, like,
yeah.
"Can I just, like, figure out what, like, I'm
What's
doing?"
up with me?
Because,
Yeah,
like, I even had to, like,
because
kinda,
it's
like,
about me.
because I even had to kinda, like, stop it and be like, "Okay, well, like, I shouldn't have to right now consider about how I'm going to handle this with you when I have to consider how to handle this with myself first."
Mhm.
And it was immediately like I had to choose between her and Vicky, and it was just so difficult because then I knew every time I came to her, it was slightly manipulative towards me, towards getting me to, and if she heard this, I swear to God, she would say, like, I'm full of shit, but it's like, I see through your crap, though,
Yeah.
and a lot of people will expect you not to, and then they will gaslight you into thinking that you are crazy, like, just
Gaslighting
because.
is a big thing with narcissists, and that was a big thing that we saw with Shannon was that a lot of our friends had narcissistic tendencies and are narcissists, including the person you're talking about, including the person I'm talking about, because they would feed off of our vulnerabilities. They would feed off of our ability to make them grow and feel big, and then they would leave us empty.
Yeah, and then because I was surrounding myself with that, I ended up with freaking narcissistic tendencies that now I'm working through, which is absolutely fantastic. But with that being said, I
Yeah, that's fun.
yeah, it was real fun. So I was alone, um,
Literally.
literally, and luckily I did have some level of support, but again, with the way I was treating myself, I didn't realize it wasn't quite the support I needed. But with her in particular, I remember being like, "Can I just figure out what I'm doing?" And then as things continued, the more I made clear that I was going to give it a shot with Vicky, and the more I made clear that it wasn't going the way that she wanted it to go, the more resistance I got from her instead of
Mhm.
support.
I just wanna say one thing about
Uh-huh.
that, is that it's just interesting the way that that turned out with that friend group is that everyone made the
Oh
affair
my
about
god.
themselves, and
Everybody.
everybody turned it around into, "But me, but me, but me," and I'm so happy we're not friends with these people anymore because it's, "But me, but me, but me," and it's like, this is how much they depended on us to make them feel good, because even something that was primarily just you and I and our issue, they still took it away to make it about them.
I remember talking to my business coach about this because I showed up to a call like in tears and I was like, "I'm sorry, can I reschedule? Like, I'm so sorry." Like, and I just felt so bad. And she was like, "No, you're fine. Like, what's going on?" And I told her, and
Mhm.
she was like dumbfounded when I was like, it just somehow like everyone's making it about them and I feel so alone. And she was like, "How the fuck?" Like, how was
Right,
like,
that's what it is, how
be-
the fuck?
because I did. I felt alone because I would go to these people for support that I thought were my friends, and it was, well, no, so and so's feelings are hurt, like the other woman's, and I'm like, who gives a fuck about her feelings? Why are her feelings more important than mine in this situation? Like, should she be taken care of to an extent? Like, yes, I'm not a girl hater. And like, but at the same time, like I was the victim in this. Like she
Yeah.
was walking away pretty unscathed. My favorite was our we'll get into our mutual friend because that's a really good way to explain how everyone made it about them. Like, this is how my friend at my 30-year friendship made it about her. But when we to go back to that,
We'll use the
when
term B. Her name is B.
yeah, it's definitely not, but yeah. So when so when B had come to me with this, once I had gotten into couples therapy with Vicky, one of the first things was to add a boundary of like, I just need you to know, like, I need to figure this out on my own. And like, we are going to couples therapy and like, blah, blah, blah. And she acted supportive in the moment, but I noticed her trend of behavior changed
Mhm.
immediately after that, where she knew that I was going to be working on things with you and she didn't like that. And again, that's fine. She's entitled to that.
Mhm.
But then you can say, like, I can't support you in the way you need to be supported because I don't agree with your decisions. And like, then I can know that the expectation is that I cannot involve you in
But
this.
that's on
But that
her.
wasn't that wasn't the support drop
Right.
that she put. It was that I'm still going to be here for you. So as I would call her very frustrated that these other people were making it about them when I was like, I just need some support and nobody's there. She's like, I just feel like this is affecting me more than it should. And I remember in that moment being like, you think it's affecting you more than it should. That's really fucking interesting because all of the times you've come to me and dumped your life on me and I've just been there and been like, okay, sure, and or just taken it even when my cup was empty. The one time I come to you, the one time I come to you with something actually extreme and you think that it's affecting you more than it should, get fucked. And I just remember in that moment being like, you're not there for me. You're not going to drop everything that you did like in order to support me. And like, did she do monetary things to support me? Yes. She sent me a gift to my house. She sent me food. It's not about the monetary. I appreciated that. It was just very confusing when I was like, okay, and here's where it gets to the support where it's like, okay, but she's sending me stuff and being nice in this way. But like emotionally, like I feel like I'm being judged and I feel like I'm not getting her best self because I'm not doing what she wants.
Mhm.
So essentially, instead of redirecting and being like, hey, and calling it out for what it was, I noticed when I didn't do what you wanted, the treatment changed. And what is that about? And being able to like hash it out and just decide and figure out in that moment if I can't expect support from her. What I did instead was beg, which was not ideal. So, as far as redirecting goes, that's what I could have done or taken the million red flags as what they were instead of fishing for her support longer when I should have taken it from I first called you and you made it about you and ending it there and moving on so that I
Mhm.
wasn't draining myself more.
Yeah. No, I think that's like that's I think that's uh, you're right in all of it. I guess like that's a lot to let simmer on the pot. She was a really bad influence on you, and I'm happy that you're growing in a different direction. That's not the direction that she would want you to grow in because I think she just wanted you in a position she could control you in.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I
Well,
see that now.
well, I know, but like, so did you always see it? Do you think?
I did know that you pointed it out more, which I think is why she didn't like you.
Well, it's always easier to see things from the outside. You
Yeah.
said that with my person too.
Yeah.
You were like, "Well, she's doing this," and I'm like, "No, it's just
Yeah, well, that was what it was. I was like, "Well, no, it's just that she requires a lot of attention." And it's
right."
like, and you were like, "You make yourself small around her." I'm like, "Well, she needs all the attention. I don't really necessarily need it."
Oh, she hated when I was
And
all about you when we were in front of her.
yeah, because and I was like, so it didn't like I was like, it doesn't bother me. But at the end of the day, like, did that in itself bother me that she needed more attention than me? No. What but why did I feel energetically drained after? And these were the things that like I knew and I should have checked to shorten the amount of time this went on with this person. I should have checked in on that more instead of continuously draining myself for their benefit.
Mhm. I agree.
And along with making things about themselves.
We had a mutual friend that gladly gladly lied to our faces about everything, and we had red flags about this person from the beginning of knowing her. Lauren longer than I because
I
she
didn't have red flags for well, I did in the beginning.
well, that's what I'm saying is
Yeah.
that, like, you always had red flags with this person and you knew from the beginning and, like, you were able to overlook them because of how close she was to the family, and, like
Yeah, she was really close to the family. I did not like her. I was very outward about not liking her and not feeling comfortable around her
and it wasn't the roids talking,
for
it was you talking.
for multiple the gym amphetamines for multiple years, and then eventually like I just tried to see her and accept her for her and come around, and it seemed to work for a while.
Mhm.
However, when her actions would continuously not line up with her words, I would be like, "Oh, that's just her, like blah blah blah," and excuse it.
But that's the thing
But
is,
knowing
like
damn well if the shoe was on the other foot, I would not be able to ride that excuse not only from her, but from my family as well.
well, not just that, but she was hurting and taking advantage, like, literally lying to and hurting and taking advantage of everybody around us, and
Mhm.
we were like, "She would never do that to us."
Yeah, that's
And we
true.
would consistently use the excuse,
Yeah.
um,
If they'll do it to other people, they'll do it to
"If
you.
you find somebody talking shit about other people, they're talking shit about you. If you find like, think about it. If you find yourself talking shit about someone, you're probably talking shit about everybody, and that goes for everyone, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, we've cut down on, like, talking poorly about other people
Because we've eliminated those people.
because not just we eliminated those people, we just don't want that negativity around. Like, we don't wanna be those people that talk poorly about other things. We'll talk honest, and we'll talk direct, but it's things like, whatever you say, have the respect for yourself to say it to that person's face if they confront you with that information.
Mhm.
That's all I'm trying to convey.
We did do that with both of these people we've talked about so far
Oh,
as well.
yeah, no, no.
When it ended, it
It
was
was a
a
very clear in so many words, "You're an asshole, fuck you, I'm out." Where's the
it
exit?
definitely was not like that,
No,
but
no, it was very civil, no cursing, no yelling. It was like, "Hey, listen, it's done, it's done. Love you from afar, take care." And of course they responded with, "Fuck you." And that was the response we were expecting to
expecting.
get, and, like, it is what it is, and, like, I don't feel love, I don't feel hate, I'm very indifferent towards these people because I don't have any energy in one way or another for these people, and including the next person that we're gonna talk about, this person that's very close to the family.
Yeah, so with her, you know how we said before, like, everyone made it about them,
Let's
right?
call her Shay.
So when she gives Sheena okay, for those of you who watch
Ooh.
Vanderpump Rules, I did say she gives Sheena Shay energy, so that's why we're gonna call her Shay.
And quick timeout, if anyone has seen the TikTok where it's the beginning and she
It's her sitting up out of bed when the biggest lie in Vanderpump Rules is the first like sentence, which is, if anybody who knows me
oh
knows,
my god.
I am like basically something along the lines of like I am my own individual and I am not a follower.
It's
And the
all
girl
happening.
and the girl like sits up in her bed like who made the TikTok like what? Because like anyone who's watched Vanderpump Rules knows Sheena Shay is
A
a
follower.
follower.
She's a
So
clout chaser. I mean, it got her far though, to be fair. So
anyway, so Sheena Shay in our world.
yes, so Shay.
So Shay in our world, I had told her up front because of how close she was to the family. Like I had lived with her for quite some time. Like we were close, like 10 years of closeness. Like I considered her like a relative. So because of how close she was to me for the last 10 years, I had said to her, like, I knew her and the mistress were friends, but not like close. Like they had known each other for like 6 months. Um, and to my knowledge, she never expressed them being close until after I tried to put the boundary up of,
Yes.
hey, I love you. I hope you understand that I don't feel comfortable with like this person being around because I don't feel like that should be in my inner circle.
Hmm.
And if she had a problem with that, then she should have told me. And so I could have known to remove myself instead.
Which you
But
did say.
which I did say, but what she did is originally she said like I'm going to keep the relationship separate, and I said basically like I would never do
How?
I said I would yeah, first of all, no you won't. Second, I said, and I quote, I would never do that to you, and like basically like good to know. And then she came back after my other family member talked to her and had said, actually just kidding, never mind, like I won't be friends with them at all. Like
JK, LOL,
I
LOL.
see how like this is like this is like such a big problem, and like I'm sorry for having your guys' time where you should be healing and focusing on each other, like where you're focusing on this now. And I was like, cool, we're all on the same page, like got it. Then it just the vibes were off. Like I hadn't
So about a month after that, we went over to her apartment to celebrate her birthday, and,
you
like,
hadn't talked to her this whole
I
time. It was
hadn't
just
talked to
me.
her for about 2 months? 2 months,
Mhm.
because yes. No? 2 months. We're gonna round up and say 3, fuck it. So, about 3 months go by and, like, cool, like, this is the first time I'm invited to, like, any kind of family thing after the affair because obviously, like, you gotta
There's discomfort.
it wasn't just discomfort, I didn't wanna make anyone else feel unease, nobody else wanted to feel unease, it was just, you have to go through the work of earning the trust of your partner before you can just fucking come back to a family event and be like, everything's fucking okay. Like, everything's not okay. So you have to I wanted to earn your trust back before coming back around to your family.
At least to an extent,
To an
yeah.
extent, right, exactly, to an extent. So, like, we go to a birthday party, which is just the 6 of us, and, um, the vibes were just, like, the vibes were off,
The
you
vibes
know?
were off. She very literally, and she's done this before
She
where she
spoke
mimics
like
people's
yeah.
personalities, but she spoke same cadence, same verbiage, same tone even as
Yeah, it was very uncomfortable. It was very much like, "This isn't who I think it is. This is very much a chameleon. It's a skin of somebody else, and you're wearing it as if it's yours, and this is uncomfortable for everybody in this room."
actually no one noticed but us somehow.
Yeah, but that goes to show.
Yeah,
So,
exactly. So, and then I was gaslit about that too. So,
not just you.
I know we were gaslit about that. But so then moving forward, what had happened was we had seen now another month
So,
goes by and
about 2 months go by.
I've
No, about 2 months go by, and on a very public forum, um,
Instagram. We can say
in a
this.
very public fashion, an Instagram post goes up, and it is a picture of Shay, another mutual friend, and the woman I had an affair with. After Shay said she was going to keep this, she wasn't going to have any kind of communication with this person. She was going to end the friendship. And this is information she told us directly. Shay said to both Lauren and
I have the
myself,
receipts.
yeah, red receipts.
I have the
But
receipts.
this is information Shay told both Lauren and myself. I'm going to end the friendship with this person. You have nothing to worry about because you're more important to me. And then we see this post. And immediately,
I could have handled that a little
we
better.
both could have handled it a little bit better, but it doesn't matter. It was still there.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter where it came from. It matters that it happened and that she was straight up lying. And then when she was caught,
She
no
blamed it on me.
apologies.
No, and she blamed it on me
Yeah,
too. So when she
that
got
she's afraid of you and that you're concerning, I believe.
No, that was part of it. She said that it wasn't acceptable. I put boundaries up around 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 her being friends with somebody. And I was like, okay. She's like, my boundary no, what was said was my boundaries didn't consider her. And I'm like, that's really interesting because boundaries don't consider other people. They consider the person they're meant to protect. So
I love that
that's
you said
number
that.
one.
Love it.
Um
Like, what a way to
and then
protect yourself.
also the person she's married to in my family had no idea because the person she's married to in my family, he had also said, like,
Don't be around this
backed me up
person.
and don't be around this person. And he doesn't want to be, he's not around this person. He doesn't condone it, whatever. So not only did she lie to me, she lied to her husband. Um, and also then decided that when I called her out on it, was I aggressive? Yeah, a little bit. Could I,
Eh,
I was not as deep into Shannon as I am now. I would have definitely handled it differently now. That prompted a lot of further follow-up sessions.
yeah, but
But
that's how you know how you can, like, gain knowledge on yourself and who you want to be moving forward, you know?
right, but she did say the main takeaway from this is that I got no apology and it was making it about yet again someone else making the affair about her. When she was so depressed that this had happened, it didn't happen to her. I don't
And she didn't reach
understand
out to me this entire time, but then told you I would still be friends with Vicky if you guys got a divorce. But she didn't reach out to me this entire time, but was friends with the mistress,
this
making sure
entire
she was okay the entire time.
Didn't make sure I was okay at all. Basically, every time I tried to speak with her about it, she avoided me like the plague and then said that she had depression. So I backed off because I have depression. I understand what that's like. But what I guesstimate had really happened is she was depressed, but and also was taking the energy she did have and putting it there because it was very clear at this point that this friendship had developed further by time we had found out.
What I think is funny out of all of this is that when we were seeing these signs. We knew even
Yes.
back then that Shay would never do this to us, and then we came back around, and then she did. We weren't even surprised that Shay did it to us. We were disappointed that we knew better. And, like,
Yeah.
and that's the thing about red flags and support is that when you see that, clock that. I'm gonna refer back to the first episode. When you see it, clock it. And that was something that we neglected to do because we didn't have knowledge, again, of ourselves or what a support group really meant. You know, we don't really know. We didn't really know what support meant. Now that we're finding better people in our lives, however we find them, whether it be through this podcast, whether it be through better support within ourselves, like we're finding that support because even the people that come out of that we see once quarterly, like our Reiki master, like she's one of the best supports that we have. You know
Mhm.
what I mean? And it's because we know that deep down she's this golden human, right?
They have not only their best interests at heart, but they have ours as
Right. And it's like, of
but
course, they're a little bit selfish, but like, shouldn't everybody be a little
everybody
bit
should be a
selfish?
little selfish
So,
because you
like,
have to take care of yourself first before you can take care of
and that's not
others.
selfish. That's you taking care of you. And that is what? A priority. Right.
So, that all being said, it's just like Vicky said, clocking it, even if because life moves so fast. So
Mm,
sometimes it's so easy to subconsciously be like, that was weird. Even if you take a second and like write it down and you can like reference it, like even like text it to yourself or
nothing
notes
good comes
app.
from rushing.
And yeah, nothing good comes from rushing and like review it when you have like schedule out even 10 minutes to sit there and like really think about it
Reflect, man.
because it, it can compile on itself and then you can be wasting so much time burning your energy that you do have on something that's not going to help you get further because the people that you do want to support you, you want them to be able to help them get you to your next level, not be skeptical and try to pull you back when you
Right.
try to make steps forward. It's like, so again, clocking these things, revisiting them and being like, is this the kind of support I would have for this person? No. Okay. Is this the kind of support I want to receive to be able to get to my next level? No. Then like really start to evaluate like if you want those people in your life at all or if you want them maybe at a further distance than you've
Right.
had them to start and we just don't want we wasted a lot of time. So we're giving you all this brain dump so that you don't waste a lot of your time if you
Well,
don't want to. If you want to knock yourself out,
but that's
but
the thing is that, like, all of this energy that we realized that we were like, when Lauren and I went on our spa retreat, which was great. But when
mm,
we went on our spa retreat, that's the thing is that was the first time we went away in 8 months because we worked so hard for it. But we really realized when we were sitting with each other, not on our phones, how much we truly appreciated having all of that energy not spent on other people or other things.
mm,
We really sat with ourselves and like there were so many times throughout the weekend where I was like, this is my best friend and like this is my wife and like we got all sappy again and like it was really nice to like sit with you and like you said, like not be on our phones and like just just be dicking around, like
yeah, but we couldn't have done that if we kept these people in our lives. Like we would
Exactly.
have gotten divorced, honestly.
Oh, totally.
That's to say like if you need to take care of yourself first, you need to take care of what's important to you first.
That's not a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing, and you can X-nay the people that are going to make that more difficult for you.
And to prioritize yourself and your relationship, your main relationship, because a lot of people have these relationships, you know, they have their partners, they have the most important relationships in their lives and they know what they are. If it's hard for you with the people around you to prioritize the best relationships that you have,
Mm,
realize why it's hard. You know what I mean? Like, why are those relationships hard for you when you have this good thing? And that's what we were realizing is that everybody else was making it hard for us. But at the end of the day, I still wanted to come home to Lauren. I didn't want to deal with all that noise. But why was everybody else making it hard for me to come home to Lauren? You know?
mhm,
And like, and that was like a real eye opener, especially meeting Shannon and going through these therapy lessons, you know?
yeah,
Toolkit.
toolkit, and, like, we spent a lot of time, especially in the winter, where we did nothing because we had cut out all that noise. So, whether that's a relationship you with yourself, a relationship with a partner, even just a relation even just if even if you're building something, if you need to go inward and cut out the noise, if you feel better when you do that, even if you wanna trial it,
Mhm.
if you feel better when you do that, it's time to think about what needs to go.
That's what we did. We trialed, like, all of these things, like, ditching these friendships, like, we trialed them before we did it, and we were like, "I feel better not talking to any of these people
Mhm.
anymore." And also, if you guys are gonna go inward, I strongly, strongly recommend getting a pasta maker. It will change your world having homemade
Oh,
pasta.
yeah, that's all
You'll
we
get
did.
oh my god, make your own Italian bread, do the thing. I'm telling you, you will have the best night of your life. Get grape juice though, unless you're a drinker, get some nice red wine. I
I
suggest
like
a Merlot.
I like the fake wine.
It
I
tastes
know
like
you
grape
do.
juice.
That's your opinion.
Well, I mean, I also love sugar.
Anyway,
Get some Welchers.
we we're gonna go make some pasta now, and we
Mm.
will see you back in 2 weeks. And like we said, please, we want to hear you. We love the DMs, but if you're able to leave a review, that helps us get this out more. And if you're able to
Review, subscribe, and I'm sure what does everyone smash that like button. That's it.
Ew. Yeah. That but yes, if you leave us a review, please tell us if you want us to go weekly, what you want to hear more of. If we haven't covered something yet, we will make it happen for you. Thank you. We're going to go eat food.
Yeah, love a good pasta.